Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things. Paper pumpkin arrived yesterday at my in-laws, and Hub ran over there this morning to pick it up for me, so I didn't get to video the in the car section of the video. So we're going to get right to opening it up, seeing what's inside so that I can start working on alternatives. This month's is called Hello Pumpkin. It is fall themed. See what we've got here. We have a witch's hat, a pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern face, some flowers. Have a happy Halloween, hello pumpkin, give thanks, and trick or treat, spooky and sweet. Spot, very appropriate, Cajun craze. Next month is going to be Joy to the World, bells are ringing, so it will be a supplies for 8 elegant holiday cards. Can't wait for that. I'm totally in the mode of holidays. We get white tissue paper this time. Let's see what we got. If I can get this out. There we go. I see some sort of treat containers. I make A2 cards, so I will be, of course, looking at ways to convert that material over to being a part of a card. I see dimensionals, double-sided dots, and probably double-sided strips for these little, it's like Tootsie Roll shape. And there's 2 different patterns. All sorts of die cuts. Die cuts like crazy. Oh my goodness. So, this will be very interesting. Let's see if I can get through all the die cuts here. We've got swirls. This is what they're shaped like in 2 colors. Oh, pretty. Lacy little bits. I like that a lot. More swirls in the yellow. Another sheet. Pumpkins. Labels. 4 sheets. Witches' hats. Spooky kitty cats and flowers, which you can't see. Let's take one of these out. Try not to bend the tail. So here's this spooky cat. Even the lace and the coils in black. Oh, many sheets of fall leaves. Oh, this is going to be a really fun kit. I can't wait. And then I see white. A couple of sheets of white. Labels, stitched, scalloped labels, flowers, and then here's some flowers, fall flowers. And on that note, I'm very excited to get to work and see what I can come up with this kit. I will tell you in advance, this is not going to focus on Halloween. It will be fall cards. And I do have a little bit of a damaged sheet here, but probably not enough to worry about. If you are ever dissatisfied with any of your Stampin' Up purchases, contact the support. They are very accommodating and helpful when this kind of thing happens. But I'm thinking with the volume of materials I have that it should not be a problem. So I will come back soon. Hey, I'm back. I just wanted to show you guys what's happening here for my process of getting ready. There are so many die cuts that I had to break out my $1 cups from the dollar store. I got a package of these, and there's a couple that already have some in them, so this isn't all of the cups. It looks like there's 9 here, and so they probably came as a dozen. And I started out separating and leaving the flowers together and the leaves together, and I opted instead to separate by color. And I started with just this 3 slot, also from the dollar store, and it ended up being not enough because all my flowers were in this where the cats are, and it was just going to be way too hard for me to fish out what I wanted. So what I'll probably do, I'll separate all these out. I will use these for assembly today, and then I will baggie them. I buy really small bags. They had them, I get them with jewelry that I buy, so I have a lot of those. And then you can buy 2x2s and 3x3s and 4x4s from Michael's. They used to have them in the front in the bins for just $1 or $2 for the whole bag. So that's what I will do when I am done with this kit. If there are pieces left, I will bag them all up for use later, maybe for a next Thanksgiving or for fall cards next year. Another bit is the little Tootsie Roll wraps have little triangles in them. So I actually have those, and they're going to be, since there's 2 patterns and I don't have enough, I'm going to actually dig around and find another bowl. What I'm finding is this little silver glass is where I've been weeding my parts into, and then I just pour them wherever they need to go. So hopefully this will help you as you prep for this kit, because if you ever wondered, has Stampin' Up made their kits less filled with materials over time? I am gonna say over the 3 or 4 years I've been doing them, probably more like 5 years I've done them now, they're getting more complicated, more intricate, more materials, not less. So I just have to say that because this kit is pretty impressive to me. And I believe last year was skeletons, and it was also equally loaded with die cuts. I think it might be a thing they like to do for their fall kit. So be prepared to have a lot of work ahead of you. These little curly Q ones, I finally finished them. I maybe should have separated them by color, but I just don't have enough space. And these, you want to be very careful. I actually did if I had a full sheet, I carefully popped out one side all the way across, and then I turned it around and I popped out the other side all the way across, and then slowly fished them out. So you'll want to be careful when you get to the little curly cues. That's all I got for now. I will finish this task. I think I've been at this, I don't know, 30 minutes after I got all my cups. Once I realized it was going to have so many colors, I would want to keep them separate. It would, by spending the time up front, it will make me go faster during the choosing and assembly of the different components phase. So I think it's well worth the organization up front, and I highly recommend it. So stay tuned. All right, I finally have everything apart. So I wanted to give one last look at all of the die cut pieces and the color coordination before I dive into some simple stamping card fronts. So there's black and white, and here are all the black and white elements. You've got the flowers in black and white, some labels including scallop labels, you've got curly cues and the lacy layer, black hat, black cat, black and white twine, and I have brought out my black ink. The yellow elements are bumblebee, but I also brought out crushed curry. You have leaves, flowers, curly cues, and the lace element. Cajun Craze is the spot that comes with the kit, and you get flowers and leaves, the insets from all of they're called cracker boxes, I guess, and there's two sides. There's an orange side and the Cajun Craze side, and then the lacy element. The greens, the guide says Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. I also had brought out Garden Green, so if you needed to, if you didn't have all the colors, you could add Garden Green into the mix. It's close enough of a match. You have leaves. I don't think any flowers. Nope, just leaves and curlicues. Pumpkin pie. You get a big pumpkin, a little pumpkin, and flowers. And I brought out my pumpkin pie ink. And then cinnamon cider has leaves and flowers, as well as curlicues. So I'm thinking at this point, now that I've seen the extents of materials, that I'm going to do a part one where I will probably finish off with doing some basic focals, and then I want to go away and create just a whole bunch of focals, and I do want to create some of the Halloween focals, even though for me they wouldn't be what I would use, but since I'll split it into two, I might as well go ahead and spend some time making some, so that I can come back. Probably we move Wednesday, so once I get moved, I will have lots of free time to be able to sit down, and I will get a part two up by the end of the week for you guys, because this is just it's so extensive. There's going to be many different ways you could build a focal to be able to put on a card. So I'd like to spend quality time doing that, since I've already spent, what, an hour and a half now getting these all organized and ready to go. And the nice thing is I will be able to put lids on all of these. You'll see I actually brought out, these are other dollar store containers that are smaller, and that way I can put lids on all of this so that I can come back to it later and not have to reset up again. So anyhow, I will go away and come back with some simple stamping fronts next. Hey, I'm ready to start some stamping. I haven't shown this in a while, but the easiest way to get your spots open is to take a straight edge or X-Acto knife or box knife, and you line it up where the base meets the top, and you just run it along the line, and that is the absolute easiest way to get these open. Just like that. So I've got some card fronts here for simple stamping. I have been told it would be nice to see me actually stamping, so I'm going to do some live stamping. My favorite quadrant to do stamping in is the bottom right. I have the give thanks sentiment out. So there is one basic one. Can't beat that one. I brought out and put on the witch's hat. Nope, see, and I smudged. Nope, that was not smudged. Good. It was just a fuzz. I need a Halloween sentiment. All right, so there's that one. Back to the Give Thanks pumpkin. I also wanted to show, I got out the faces. There are two jack-o'-lantern faces, a small one and a large one. And I also brought out these pumpkins to try. I assume that they are meant to be stamped on. Perfect. Oops. Hate it when that happens. All right, so you can definitely stamp on the pumpkins. There are actually two different, they're slightly different sizes, but I believe, and I do like the Cajun Craze. They actually made the line work Cajun Craze colored so that you could use just this one stamp pad. Okay, so you can do that. And I want to take these off. I'm looking for my chamois. I will be back in a sec. Chamois found. I'm just cleaning off the jack-o'-lantern faces. Now, I just wanted to do one more basic card front. Make it a little more intricate. Still one color. And I have decided that this particular kit might not need any other add-ons besides maybe some colored cardstock and embossing, dry embossing folders. When you do a full background, the trick is to make it look good for whatever reason, have some of the images going off the page. I'm not sure why. And it's always a trick to make sure nothing is lining up when you want them to be randomly rotating. So this one, I figure I will come back later and will add a sentiment using one of the labels that were provided. I might even just leave it like that. It's a nice busy design. And then for a fourth one, let's go back to the Give Thanks. when I'm going to do like an all-around background, in that other case I wasn't going to do a sentiment, but if you're going to do the sentiment on there, I recommend you do it first. That way it gets its spot. You don't have to worry about accidentally forgetting to give it a space on your card front. So I'm going to go ahead and put this pumpkin all over the front. I'm leaving space because I want to put a couple of fall leaves on here in between the small ones. Another trick, if you want to keep your stamp in the same place, is to rotate your paper as you go. I do that a lot. And that gives a nice natural look to the rotating, random placed stamped images. And you can kind of take it, if you want to use, I just stamped on the back half. Now I'm going to try to not re-ink and see if I can successfully, oh, see, and that's the flaw with that. So I just wanted to show you that if you're using half stamping, it's probably best to go ahead and stamp the whole image, even if you're only going to use a part of it, so you avoid that happening, which is funny because I was hoping it wouldn't happen, and it did. All right, so switching to a little leaf. Oh, now, I messed up here. So what you do have a chance with these photopolymers, which is nice, to line them up and finish your stamp. It's not perfect, but if you're going to give it to somebody, I bet they would never notice. What I would do if I have this mistake, I would probably go ahead and trim it down and add this as a layer on a base. It would be on a white base, most likely. And it also would be just fine. So that gives us 4 simple stamping ideas. I'm just going to run through them again. We showed the stamping of the jack-o'-lantern faces on the die cuts. I so far haven't seen any other opportunities. The cats are black and the hats are black, so I don't think there's any stamping opportunities there. So there's that side of those two. And then there's this Happy Witch's hat. You could put little flowers. You could add the oak leaves. I think when I make up a label to go on top, I will consider whether I want to add some more elements. You could add any of these colors, supplemental. You could color the pumpkins with a pumpkin pie marker. All sorts of things you could do with this, and this would be the theme that I would be using to give out. So next I will probably do a little bit, one round with using the pieces, and then call this part 1 done. So stay tuned for the last section. All right, this is the final section of the day. I've got some focals. Before I reveal the focals, I was working on this one. And I just wanted to point out, when you're creating with these dimensionals, and I've done this in the past where I've explained, along the edges of your dimensional is a solid piece of foam. So I always cut, and you can see that I've already done this, I snip the little sections so that I can make use of all of the edges, even the funny honeycomb shaped edges, and these corners I will use on bigger items. So don't forget to use all of your dimensional foam. Let none go to waste. It's all usable. So I'm not going to get too deep with the backgrounds today. I'm going to save that for part 2, but I do want to show you some fun focals I created today, and I will put them on either a white base or these cards that I already stamped for you. This first one uses the black twine, and let's see if there's a place where he can go. He could probably go right here. So this guy, I like his shape being kind of a spindly shape, trying to emphasize his legs, so I put the pumpkin down low and put the Hello Pumpkin up on his body so that his tall spooky legs would be showing. And he looks great, of course, on just a blank card front. The next one is a fun, I went ahead and did my back, a fun pumpkin one that of course looks good on a blank. And I will have colored cardstock with some embossing perhaps for the later episode. I don't know that any of these, this one might work right here. So this is a nice, fun, busy background. If you knew that you were going to put a focal, you could move out your stamping to have a little more white space so it's not quite so busy in the middle. I had to, of course, do a black, and that looks very cute. You might be missing so far, the only item I saw missing from the kit are any sequin, rhinestone, pearl embellishments, so I will also get into those the second half, where I look at my inventory of the different embellishment packs and show you ones that would work perfectly. And then I did a more simple one. Just a nice, simple give thanks, and that will also work on this one very nicely. Again, you can just make sure that your background stamping has a little more breathing room around where your sentiment will go. And that concludes part 1 of this month's Paper Pumpkin kit, the September kit, which is themed Fall Thanksgiving. And I've done 4. I will take pictures for the showcase showing these 4 on just white, and then I will also take pictures for you guys of the 4 beginning stamper cards. I also have on Wednesdays, Winter is Coming Wednesday, that if you're interested in seeing me make fall cards, right now I'm focusing on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And if I end up doing New Year's cards later in the year, because of course, you know, since I started so early, I'm going to have lots of cards done, and we'll have more time in theory to be able to make New Year's cards. So that is every Wednesday, and this Wednesday's card is super cute. And I will see you back here for the second half of alternatives, probably by Friday. Thanks for watching.